Good morning. It is time for another edition, if you will, of an interview segment to talk with Karen Onan about transportation. And Karen, of course, it's been a little while since the last time we chatted, but she is from the East Central Regional Development Commission, and she deals with the transportation side of things. And Karen, gosh, it's been months. Nice to have you back in.
It's nice to see you. It's nice to be back in here again, and I'm happy to be able to talk about some things on the radio that we have going on at the East Central Regional Transportation Coordinating Council.
Why don't you introduce our guest this morning, too, Karen?
It's wonderful to have Helen Pieper back. Good to see you, Helen.
Good morning.
Helen is from Timber Trails Public Transit. Tell us more about what you do.
Timber Trails is the local public transit bus service. We have buses that run in the southern part of the county. Our service design is available on our website. We provide transportation for whatever you need. It's pretty economical, $3 for a round trip in town, $5 out, and we're here to get you where you need to go.
Well, Helen is with Timber Trails in Kanabec County, and we do cover the 5-county area, which also includes TriCap in Mille Lacs and then Arrowhead in the rest of the regions. But we're going to talk today about emergency preparedness. And the Regional Transportation Coordinating Council recently did a local human services transit coordination plan, and emergency preparedness is really high on our list of priorities. And we have been working with the region's preparedness managers or operators, and it's really important that they see the need for transportation when it comes to emergency preparedness. It isn't always the first thing that comes to mind, but with our directory that we have on our ECRTCC website, that's there to help anybody who needs it. But just to think about emergency preparedness, now they also now have this list that can help them to find transportation devices to get people who need to get out of where they are to another location. So that being said, what do we mean by emergency?
Well, I think it's kind of anything that's out of the ordinary. In Minnesota, we have all kinds of weather that rises to the level of, if not an emergency, at least an urgent situation.
Yeah, so, tornadoes, flooding, a hazardous pollution incident like the trains that have been kind of recently happening, the pandemic, power outages, thunderstorm, lightning, and hail, wildfires and winter storms. I live very close to a lake right now, and I'm only about 10 feet up off the water. And so I'm a little bit concerned, about the flooding. And I keep an eye on it, and, I can keep my eye on it. But what am I going to do? Do I have a plan? And that's what we want to talk about here today is what is the plan? And I don't have a basement, which is good because of the water. But, if there's a tornado, where do I go?
Right.
And I have a chimney, and I believe that my inside room next to the chimney would be a good place to hang on to.
Grab your blankets and your pillows. When you figure out where this safe area is in your home, then think about what you need to bring to that area.
Got my transistor radio with the batteries in it.
Yep.
I got a candle and a lighter and water and a bowl for my animals, because they can't really drink out of the bottle, and a flashlight with fresh batteries.
Water is huge. So I always talk prep a little bit when I'm at meetings and public outreach things. And you would be surprised the number of little old ladies, when we get talking about it, have got 5 gallons of water stuffed in the closet someplace. They survived the Great Depression. They survived World War II. They survived so many things.
Well, and recently I filled up my bathtub full of water because of the storms I heard were coming. And, I am that little old lady. I've got these big jugs of water in my garage, because I have been in a big storm where I did lose power for 4 days, and I didn't have that.
Can you imagine a house full of small children and no power for 4 days?
Oh, my goodness.
It's not only, feeding them, but what do we do with the bathroom stuff?
Yeah, and if you've got the water, you can at least pour that in there.
Flush the toilet.
We want to make sure that people have notified a friend or family member or a neighbor so that somebody checks on them during these emergency situations. And it's important that somebody know where you are. And also, I don't remember people's phone numbers. I remember mine and maybe my daughter's on a good day, but I need to write these down because if you don't have your phone or your phone dies and you can't get to those numbers, just a thought. And Helen, you mentioned something about having emergency numbers.
A family emergency plan.
Yeah.
That put down the phone numbers like you just talked about, who to contact in an emergency, where the daughters live when they're out of state and what phone numbers are those. In transit, we have what we call a safety and security plan. We list all of the numbers of people that we need to have. We list all of the websites. We list all of the kind of basic plans.
Everybody kind of knows where everybody is and what they're thinking.
Right. Texting. Even when you lose some of the cell phone service, you still have the texting. If you have those numbers.
True.
Yeah, that's important to have that. And then just as a reminder, we've talked about Code Red before on the air.
Uh-huh.
And Code Red is a system. If you already have a hardline phone in the middle of a tornado, if there's a warning that goes out, you will get that automated call that warns you that this is what's happening. But if you don't have a hardline, and this is true of counties around the listening area, if you do not have that, like I just have my cell phone, well, then you have to sign up for Code Red. So I encourage you, go to the Kanabec County website.
Or any of the counties that you live in.
Thank you. It's very simple to get signed up, and then your cell phone will get those alerts. And it's good to know that.
I'll put that on our website too, that Code Red link. So if anybody can't find it, it's easy to find there.
That'd be great, Karen.
Another one online is called ready.gov. The phone number is 1-800-FED, F-E-D, info. Fed info. So what they want you to do is to get involved, get ready, have your toolkits, have local emergency management information, and there's a lot of information there under the resources tab.
The first step in being prepared is just thinking about it.
Right. And I think it's very important to have the friends and family and neighbors happening. As much as you might want to be very independent and on your own, in these situations especially, we all need each other, and let's help each other out. So if you know of that older lady who lives on the end of the one road that you only see periodically, maybe make a point to talk to her and say, hey, can I get your phone number? Can I help you? Just that. We need to do more of that in the world, I think. We're supposed to help each other out. Karen, what is the best website? I mean, you were talking about maybe having all in one spot. And we want to mention again that transportation is what this is all about. And there's a lot of great providers in our area besides Timber Trails. So what else do people need to know there as far as getting that information?
Our website is eastcentraltransit.com. I also wanted to say that the end of July that Helen and I will be doing our building again at this county fair in Kanabec County, and we'll have the transportation building, which was it still is the Boy Scout building, but we're borrowing it for the fair, and we will be holding some emergency preparedness kind of trainings or information seminars. So
workshops. I like the idea of a workshop to help people get a hands-on feel for what they can put in a 5-gallon bucket that will have them be ready for a lot of things.
Well, ladies, as always, it's a pleasure. Helen Pieper from Timber Trails and Karen Onan from the East Central Regional. I was so close. Transportation Coordinator.
I finally got it. And it's only been 5 years, but I got to figure it out.
Eventually I'll get there. But again, thanks, ladies, so much. And this update has been brought to you in part by our friends at MnDOT.